Sa nama je i ambasador Europske unije u Bosni i Hercegovini, gospodin Johanna Sattler, koji će vam se također obratiti. Vaša ekscelencija, izvolite.
Dobro jutro svima. A warm welcome here from Sarajevo, also from my side, and big thanks to the Directorate for European Integration, Director Dilberovic, and Ambassador Stromqvist for putting together this conference on an important topic, communicating key European integration messages more effectively. Membership in the EU is a choice, and I want to underline that it's a choice that our partners in the Western Balkans made very clearly when they submitted their respective applications. In BiH, the situation as of today is that we have about 80% of the population supporting very much going to the European Union. This varies a little bit between the entities, but a little less, 65, 70 in the RS and about 85, 90% in the federation, which is a good figures and which have also increased over the last year during the pandemic. Also in the past year, the EU office here in BiH has worked productively with DI on numerous initiatives. These have included also communication efforts, and I believe this has been especially important in the difficult environment created by the pandemic. At the beginning of this difficult period, beginning of last year, when Corona hit us, High Representative Borrell pointed out that we are, and I quote, in a battle of narratives in which timing is a crucial factor. We are in the midst of a battle of narratives. I think this has to be clear to everyone, in which timing is a crucial factor. This is still true, and not just in the region, but also globally today. The pandemic has highlighted, among many other things, the paramount importance of sharing accurate information in timely and effective ways. The EU has been treating this country, BiH, but also the entire region, as partners throughout the crisis, focusing on medical assistance and on mitigating the significant socioeconomic impact. And yes, sometimes we are not the fastest, sometimes we're a bit slow, but in the end, we always live up to the promises we make. Look back at 2020, and it becomes clear that looking at the figures, the European Union and its member states were by far the most generous and loyal supporters of this region and BiH. When it comes to BiH, we have invested 80 million euros, 7 on medical supplies and 734 socioeconomic measures. And then plus we've also put together macro-financial assistance for BiH with the size of 250 million euros, which will be very necessary in going forward in the very difficult period which is ahead of us in the recovery period. This is just one part of our support for BiH on its part towards the European Union. And why is it so important to communicate this? As one of my favorite writers, Bosnian writers, Meša Selimović, said, "Nije čovjek on što misli, već on što čini." Person is not what he thinks, but what he does. This gets to the heart of the task also before us. The European integration process is about action. The process is all-encompassing. It's transformative. It hasn't stopped because of the pandemic. In fact, its importance has only increased because of the crisis. This is also an inclusive process in which all of us, whether representatives of government, civil society, media, or the academic community, have an important role to play. All our communication efforts must be based on explaining clearly to citizens what we are doing, because a great deal is being done. We must also explain why we are doing these things and what we expect to achieve. And very importantly, I believe we must communicate with greater speed. I think this is something where we can and should also improve, presenting solutions even as new challenges emerge. In other words, we have to expedite, to explain, and to expand. With this, I want to wish all of you a fruitful conference, a fruitful exchange here, and thanks again for having me.